Hi, everybody. My name is Eli. I'm here in ETH Denver. I'm here with Daniel. He is the CEO of Nexus. So, Daniel, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? How are you enjoying ETH Denver so far?
Thank you, Eli. It's been fun. It's been fun. Certainly, ETH Denver is seeing a little bit of more of a chill landscape compared to last year.
Okay.
But you know, whenever there's a bear market, the true builders remain, and so it's always good to see more signal to noise.
Yeah.
In this landscape.
Yeah. And so, compared to like the other ETH Denvers that you've been to, I mean, what does it look like this year?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of discussion about sustainability, right?
Okay.
Sustainability, like economic sustainability for protocols, which is a topic that we
Yeah.
quite like to talk about.
Yeah.
In particular, how do we reason through how blockchain protocols should be valued, or how blockchain protocols will last the test of time. And it's hard to tell, right? Because a lot of blockchain protocols don't.
Hmm.
Right? And so, we at Nexus, we really focus on creating tangible value in the field of
Hmm.
finance. And we focus on building a sustainable, hopefully revenue positive protocol as part of our layer one architecture, right? Which is something new in the space. A lot of layer ones and layer twos didn't really used to think about that.
Yeah.
But as we're seeing in the market and in the ecosystem, this is something that really matters to people today.
So tell me, Daniel, how did you end up, here, starting Nexus? Like, give me a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
For sure. Yeah. So I was part of the Stanford blockchain club
Okay.
when I was in college.
Okay.
Nexus was part of the Stanford blockchain accelerator as well.
Oh.
Well, going a little bit more back in time, I originally studied physics and mathematics before going to college. I participated twice at the International Physics Olympiad, which is like the International Math Olympiad, but for physics.
Okay.
And so my background has always been very closely related to mathematics, computation,
Okay.
theoretical physics. When I got to Stanford, I studied computer science. My official major was artificial intelligence,
Okay.
but I worked very closely in the cryptography department,
Oh.
where I essentially was very closely working with both the cryptography field as well as the blockchain field. That was, I think, like 2021, 2022, when the field was really booming with a lot of protocol design, so on and so forth. At Nexus, we started the company based on the premise that verifiable computation was something that was really taking off. And
Okay.
it's really taken off over the past few years. It's zero knowledge proofs,
Hmm.
so on and so forth. We've always known that, like our core thesis has been that there exists a space for a really novel design of a layer one blockchain based off of the really rapid advancements that we're seeing in the field of verifiable computing
Okay.
and zero knowledge cryptography. So you may know, right? Like
Hmm.
even Ethereum itself seeks to enshrine zero knowledge virtual machines as part of its core layer one architecture. Um, we've seen that or predicted for that to happen for a long time. We at Nexus, we built the Nexus CKVM,
Yeah.
Nexus Zero Knowledge Virtual Machine. And our vision has always been of building a next generation layer one that is horizontally scalable using the capabilities of zero knowledge proofs. But we've always wanted to go beyond, right? We recognize that just better technology, more scalability is not enough in
Yeah.
today's market. You need to bring value to users, you need to bring value to institutions. And that's why we focus on the applications of verifiable computation in the field of finance in particular.
Hmm.
So, we can talk about the Nexus Exchange, which we
Yeah.
announced will be launching soon, which will be a perpetual decentralized exchange, as well as we announced yesterday the launch of the Nexus Stablecoin, in
Okay.
collaboration with the M0 protocol, which will be the native stablecoin of the Nexus Layer 1. And so very exciting developments happening.
Okay, so these are huge. These are like big announcements. So then tell me, give us just kind of like the very like what is Nexus? Just like the bare bones rundown, and then tell us a little bit about like how are you integrating ZK EVM? Like why like what is the value proposition behind that?
Yeah, so Nexus is seeking to build what you may consider a next generation economic machine,
Okay.
right? Verifiable economic machine. We think that there is space to design what the optimal world computer should look like. And, we think that previous players such as Solana, Ethereum, so on and so forth, have advanced the field quite a bit, but there's a lot more to do.
Okay.
In particular, for example, we think that Hyperliquid itself has brought around a very interesting new design space and era for blockchain technologies, which essentially feature a much closer relationship between traditional finance and decentralized finance, where the two of them sort of look even more and more alike together, right? And it's partly due to the building of special purpose financial applications natively integrated with blockchains, right? So Nexus is a layer one, or what would we say is that it's a layer one for verifiable finance.
Okay.
It's a broad statement, right? We do think that there is a lot of design possibilities for enshrining specific financial applications in a novel layer one economic engine that presents exciting new economic properties by combining several elements such as the stablecoin that I mentioned, the exchange that I mentioned, and then the broader layer one.
Yeah. So tell me about this exchange, about the stablecoin. Like, how do they interact? Like, this is something that you just announced. Is it available? It's not available yet, or is it available yet? Or...
Yeah. So the layer one testnet's available today. It's an EVM testnet. We have about 3 million users that have interacted across various testnet campaigns in Nexus over the past year. What's coming next for us is the launch of the EVM mainnet, right? But after the EVM mainnet, what comes after is the launch of the exchange mainnet.
Okay.
Right? Exchange mainnet is quite literally being built and enshrined at the heart of layer one, right? This is through a novel architecture that we call the dual core architecture, where there's an EVM core and there's an exchange core. And the two of those communicate together. But this is special purpose. This is general purpose. This is not too dissimilar to the Hyperliquid architecture.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the stablecoin that we just announced will come eventually, right? We can't communicate a specific time right now, but hopefully quite soon. And the thing about the stablecoin is that it is the native quote asset of the exchange, right?
Okay.
So like perpetuals in the exchange will be denominated in USDX, right? And USDX will also be used as a core stablecoin across other areas of the layer one. In particular, one of the good things about USDX is that it allows the protocol to capture revenue through the TVL in the layer one, right? So in other blockchains, the TVL does not at all actually equate to protocol revenue. Right?
Okay.
At Nexus, we are seeking to have this notion of a dual token to some degree, where there's the native gas token, NEX, right? And there's the stablecoin, USDX. And the two of those allow us to materialize a monetary policy for the blockchain, which can utilize the native gas token as incentives, but also the yield generated by the stablecoin as incentives for the whole blockchain ecosystem.
Wow. So then tell me, like, why build an exchange within the EVM itself? Why not just build an exchange on top of this layer one that you're building?
Oh, right. So there's a nuance there, right? It's
Okay.
not necessarily in the EVM.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
Parallel to
Please.
the
Oh yes. Yeah. You told me
the
dual cores. Yes.
So it's in the blockchain,
Okay.
not in the EVM. It's tightly connected to the EVM.
Okay.
So it's a combination of what you just said, right? It's sort of like outside, but not outside.
Okay.
It's tightly connected. It's inside the blockchain, but outside the EVM.
So, I mean, this is different than the typical exchanges that we would
Yes.
see. How is it? I guess, like, what makes it better?
Yes. So the traditional way to build that decentralized exchange
Mhm.
is you deploy a set of smart contracts on the EVM or on the SVM or whatever other virtual machine.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's had some success, right? You know, Uniswap
Yeah,
has
yeah.
had a lot of success, but it also has a lot of limitations, right? One of the really big limitations is that this decentralized exchange looks nothing like a centralized exchange,
Yeah.
right? And so a centralized exchange exposes APIs by which high frequency traders, hedge funds, so on and so forth, are very well used to
Yeah.
trading on. So, for example, Binance, BitGet, Bybit, Coinbase, all of those centralized exchanges, they expose uniform APIs by which, if you have a trading strategy, you can easily switch between exchanges and execute the same strategy seamlessly, right?
Oh,
And it's high frequency as well, right? So
Yeah.
like the responses that you get, your trades are very high frequency and very fast, low latency as well. In a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, you have none of those tools at your disposal.
Yeah.
It's none like it. If you're a high frequency trader, the environment just looks nowhere like what you're used to,
Mm-hmm.
and the latency is just very high, right? Because if you submit a trade or a transaction on Uniswap on Ethereum L1, well, you're subject to Ethereum L1 latency, which is 15 seconds, right? But high frequency traders today,
How are you going to be a trader with 15 seconds?
exactly, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. And all of this is due to the native limitations of the EVM, right? The EVM seeks to be a virtual machine that, seeks to be the VM for everything at the same time. But by being the VM for everything at the same time, it doesn't favor any particular application, right?
Mhm.
So if you wish to build a high performance decentralized application, you need to extract that logic outside the EVM and build something special purpose,
Yeah.
which is what we're
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess, would you think, like, almost kind of the way you're talking about it, it's almost kind of like it's like a centralized, decentralized exchange.
right.
Is
Sort
that
of.
is that the kind
So
like,
exactly.
with the concepts? I didn't know, obviously it's not like centralized,
Yeah,
but like as far as like what you can get in the centralized exchange, you can also get in this.
in the decentralized concept. Exactly. So um how the question is, how can you replicate in terms of performance and feature parity
Mhm.
a centralized exchange but have it in a decentralized blockchain
Mhm,
setting, right?
mhm.
So decentralized, non-custodial, permissionless, composable, programmable. And to do so, you need to build like this special purpose dual engine that
Mhm,
communicates with the EVM.
mhm.
Hyperliquid did something similar. They innovated something similar. Modern proof DEXs are trying to do something along those lines. One of the great things, going back to CK in that story, right, is that um, thanks to CK and general purpose CK, you can do all of these things like have an EVM, have a special purpose exchange, have a special purpose financial applications, and prove them all, like prove the execution through a general purpose CKVM, right?
Yeah.
Which was not possible before CKVMs existed. Which is, why we're very excited about general purpose verifiable computation, because it allows you to really expand the design horizon of blockchain technologies in a way that hasn't really been possible.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like too, like, some of these other limitations are, with like layer one Ethereum. Layer one Ethereum has use cases, a lot of different use cases, but it's like it's trying to do all these things
Exactly.
at once. And so you needed to build something that can specifically,
Hosts a specific application, right? So
exactly.
it's that philosophical difference as well, right? So Ethereum takes this credibly neutral, passive, I would say, approach to improving blockchain technology,
Mhm.
which has, its own merits, right? That's why they have a lot of adoption and so on and so forth. We at Nexus, we're a startup, right? Based in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. We think that in order to drive the next generation series of improvements in blockchain technologies, layer ones need to be active, right?
Mhm.
Active actors that are opinionated, right? Rather than neutral. And thankfully, startup, you can do that, right? You can push the boundaries more.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of freedom
Exactly.
for that. And so I guess, and with you're building this, like, centralized, decentralized kind of thing. it sounds like, a lot of like institutional kind of people are, it's more open for them to kind of get more involved into DeFi. I mean, is that something that you're trying to bring more institutional people into the space? Like, is that kind of an intention of yours?
Exactly. So in particular, we're interested in high frequency traders.
Okay.
And high frequency payments, high frequency perpetuals, spot trading, so on and so forth. Part of the reason is like most of the volume being moved in the world of capital today happens at high frequency, right? But also, like we're seeing in parallel the rise of agents and artificial intelligence, and those entities will operate very fast, to say the least, right?
Layer 1 Ethereum is not going to work for...
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Unless unless you're moving like a really big amount.
Right.
But then you're, at the speed at which technology is moving, like even like an hour or like 40 minutes, 60 minutes, like that can drive prices dramatically, right? So yeah, we think that's the future. We think that machines will be moving all of the capital. They're already doing it, but like autonomously as well. And so part of our vision is like, can we build novel financial engines that look very much like those of traditional finance in the Nexus Layer 1 blockchain, not only the exchange, but also high frequency stablecoin payments, lending protocols, prediction markets, so on and so forth, that happen in a way that is very suitable for institutions, right? And, more professional traders to trade on. But here's the exciting thing.
Yeah.
Like what we're talking about right now is about blockchains finally reaching feature parity with traditional finance, right?
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But then what's next, right? Like, do we just emulate?
We've been spending so much time trying to get to this point.
Exactly. Right? What is next, right? Like, are we only going to be as good as traditional finance?
Yeah.
Well, the answer is no, right? Once parity with traditional finance is achieved, the core blockchain properties of composability, programmability, so on and so forth, unlock truly novel financial applications that have just not been seen in traditional finance, as well as novel ways of achieving economic efficiency and composability.
Yeah.
So an example that I like to give is, for example, HIP3 by Hyperloop, which allows developers to deploy their own perpetual exchange. Uniswap as well. They allowed for developers to deploy their own spot exchanges, right? That's a capability that's impossible in traditional finance. So you can't just deploy your own exchange.
Can you imagine?
Right. Like that doesn't even exist, right? But this infrastructure is providing code that can be reused by developers to build their own financial applications. And then those exchanges can couple with lending protocols, lending with stablecoins, provide yield. And there's like this really exotic...
There's like a whole new world that we've like opened up now with this.
Exactly. So what I like to say is that there's some type of emergence that happens in this new world of like novel financial primitives, higher economic efficiency, yield composability, revenue composability, that not only yield new and novel applications that are exotic and interesting and exciting, including like flash loans, for example, which is a concept that doesn't exist in traditional finance, right? But also, when you think about an intelligent agent, so to say, like you and I, we can reason easily through, I'm going to put a trade, or I'm going to do this. But it's hard for us to reason through like a multi-step trade process, right? I'm going to interact here, I'm going to take a loan, then I'm going to do this, and then it composes like complex economic strategy. Be more...
the mental load is
exactly
so complex,
right? But machines and agents can really reason through that quite. And we're seeing just over the past couple of weeks, right? Like agents through like OpenClaw or CloudBus, like autonomously taking actions in the world of finance, right? And blockchains and digital money is like their natural waters, their natural way of actually moving money on it. So I think we're due to like a very exciting ride with what finance will become.
Yeah, that's amazing. So then tell me, Daniel, you had talked about the stable coin you're launching. With this exchange as well, like, what is what does the revenue look like for you guys? Like, how does Nexus, kind of make money out of
Yes,
that?
yes. So in a blockchain, there's usually two KPIs or metrics that matter, right? Number one is volume, and number two is TVL.
Okay.
Volume is how much money is going through the blockchain. TVL is how much money is parked on the blockchain. Unfortunately, in traditional blockchains, like Ethereum, for example, it doesn't really matter how much volume or how much TVL you have. The core blockchain is not monetizing that.
Oh, yeah. So it literally doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's not capturing any value.
Yeah.
Volume matters for an exchange because exchange captures revenue through trading fees, or like spreads, and so on and so forth. TVL matters for lending protocols and stablecoins, right? For example, Tether, which we know been generating over $1 billion in profits per quarter, right? Which is massive. It's one of the largest private companies in the world to exist.
It's incredible.
So at Nexus, we think that there is this opportunity to build this very economically powerful, sustainable machine, world computer, but a world computer that is very cognizant of the revenue it produces, and that reasons through, even notions such as GDP, like gross domestic product of the blockchain, just as how a nation state.
Yeah.
Right? So in the Nexus layer 1, this materializes through both the stablecoin and the exchange. The stablecoin allows it to capitalize on TVL and exchange on volume. And they couple in very exciting and interesting ways, right? In addition to that, the fact that you have yield being generated through the stablecoin, as well as revenue generated through the core protocol, allows you as a blockchain to do something really exciting, which is to create what you may call a monetary policy, right?
Okay.
So, for example, the U.S. has a monetary policy.
Yeah.
They get together every few months and they say, these are going to be the interest rates.
Yeah.
And we're going to issue bonds and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, when you capture that yield generated by the U.S. and sort of like transmit it into layer 1 economic policy where you have your own stablecoin, and that stablecoin generates yield and distributes it, right? You have the opportunity as a blockchain or as a layer 1 to also create a monetary policy that manages yield, that manages revenue, that manages the core token to plan the development of the blockchain through months and years, right?
Okay.
So, it's quite an interesting notion.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like a neo government.
Yeah, like a neo government,
that you guys
neo
are-
country.
Yeah.
It's quite exciting. Like I do think that blockchains, like a good blockchain, should think of itself like a nation state. It should manage its own monetary policy. It should measure its progress by virtue of its gross domestic product, which is how much value the protocol is creating through revenue, but how much value is the protocol creating through applications on the protocol.
All right.
Which would be the analogy or analogous to like businesses on a country.
Yeah.
And hopefully you incentivize those so they're incentive aligned to grow the ecosystem.
Yeah. And it sounds like at Nexus, like you're coming at this from both directions.
From both directions. We hope to form tight alliances and like revenue sharing type of agreements with that are permissionless in nature, with applications being deployed on the layer 1. So for example, you can imagine a type of incentive mechanism where applications deployed on the layer 1 are rewarded proportionally to the stablecoin TVL that they bring to us.
Okay.
Which is also something that we have not.
So it's like result based kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Based on your results, you get a share of protocol revenue.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty much an exotic financial machine, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see what that materializes into.
So then, I guess looking forward, next 6 months, 1 year, you're talking about the token, you talk about the exchange. Like, what does the future of Nexus look like 6 months, a year from now?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. So what's coming is the launch of the mainnet, the EVM main.
Yeah.
Step number 1. That already, naturally encompasses a lot of work,
Yeah.
synchronizing a lot of parties in the ecosystem, and so on and so forth. What comes after is the launch of the exchange, and somewhere in between those two, or earlier or later, is the launch of the stablecoin.
Okay.
We generally expect that the stablecoin may come before the exchange,
Okay.
but these are like parallel threads that are progressing, and honestly, like our job as a protocol is quite simple. Right, we have two core KPIs, TVL and volume,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that we do should be focused on growing TVL and volume, and not only TVL and volume generated by the layer one, but generated in aggregate by all the applications built on the layer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, if I want to learn more about Nexus, where do I go? You guys, you're X. Are you on X active?
Yeah,
Wow.
quite active.
So, what's your handle?
Daniel Marin Q.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter as well. It's Nexus Labs is our handle.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a few good many followers, so
Awesome.
it should be easy to find us.
Okay. Well, hey, Daniel, thank you so much for your time today. This has been a great conversation.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, what's up?
This is
But
Zach.
it's not something Gen Z is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
You do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Gen Z Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.